Hey, I'm Shamar.
And I'm Andrew.
We're going to be doing a deep dive on all the connected DC animated movies and their cinematic universe.
Yes, I'm here to discuss the interconnected storylines and point out how jacked everybody is.
And I'm here to share deep comic book knowledge like Batman having his own sneaker line.
So check out yet another DC animated podcast.
Part of the Forgotten Entertainment family and coming soon wherever you listen to your podcast.
Hey, it's Andrew Morgan, host of the Nomcast, the Netflix original movie podcast. Each week, we review the biggest Netflix original movies with special guests from the film industry, the music industry, comedians, and of course, our fellow podcasters. Check us out on the web at nomcastpod.com. Follow us on the socials at nomcastpod. And most importantly, listen and subscribe to us wherever you get podcasts. Hit that beat one time.
Hello there. See what I got going on there today, guys. Hello there.
Oh boy.
And welcome. Maul. I know, he's so cute. I love it. Welcome, Nerdy Knights, to the well-rounded table to Bohemian Geek Studies, where we take extremely dorky dives into our favorite fandoms. I'm Colleen McMillan, Jedi Master and Rebel Scum collaborator.
And I am Pirate Jedi, Anders Drew. And no matter what rank you carry, one thing will always remain constant. Much to learn, we still have.
Darn right. This season on Bohemian Geek Studies, we're taking a detailed dorky dive into Star Wars Rebels. Today, we're diving into my favorite Rebels episodes and my favorite Star Wars moments. Season 2, episodes 21 and 22, the season finale for Rebels Season 2, Twilight of the Apprentice, parts 1 and 2.
Oh, these are so good.
Oh, I'm excited.
So we have done our best to scramble our signal, and we will be avoiding spoilers for future Rebels episodes. But I will throw an adult content warning in there for the youngling. This is Maul. We do have Colleen here, so things might get steamy.
I got my Maul shirt on too, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's Maul all the time.
So without further ado, let's hop on board the Phantom and head to Malachor to explore our holocrons of knowledge. Colleen, punch it and open that first holocron.
Heck yes. Thanks, Yoda, for launching us into our first holocron today.
Yes.
It is the Journal of the Wills, in which we go over the plot episode synopsis for this week. So here we go. Twilight of the Apprentice, parts 1 and 2. We open with Ahsoka communicating with Rex really cutely. This part was so adorable. He doesn't want them to go to Malachor alone, but she assures him that they'll be fine.
Everything's fine. It's all good.
Nothing wrong is going to happen. It's fine. Ezra wonders what they're even searching for. So Ahsoka says knowledge to help defeat their enemy. After landing, the group comes across some ruins that Ahsoka tries to read in the old tongue. Ezra, seemingly mesmerized by the ruins, reaches out and touches them, causing a reaction, and the ground caves in.
Curious teenager. Guys, don't touch anything.
Don't touch things, especially ruins. Good Lord, he's never seen any freaking hollows of any sort of horror movies, I guess. The group are in a large cavern with the Sith temple in view in front of them. They decide that the temple is their probable destination.
Mm-hmm. So they head out. On the way, they come across hundreds, if not thousands, of burned bodies left over from a battle long ago between armies of Jedi and Sith. This is bad. Oh boy.
Not good, guys. This is when I would have been like, we need to turn it around.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for this.
And then they are attacked by an Inquisitor. But he also seems kind of surprised to have found them there, indicating that he was there ultimately searching for someone else. Ominous. Ezra falls through a crack in the ground and yells up to Kanan and Ahsoka that, no, he'll be fine. Don't worry. They need to go after the Inquisitor. Again, don't worry. Everything will be fine. Ezra hears a voice in the distance and, credit to him, lightsaber out. He's got it ignited. He goes to investigate, and he comes across a hooded figure with a walking stick who claims that he has been stranded there, also seeking knowledge of the Sith, particularly how to destroy them. Mm-hmm. Ezra still kind of hesitant, but decides, all right, he's going to work with this guy. He tells him his name is Jabba. As always, gotta love the Jabba reference. And the stranger calls himself Old Master.
Mm-hmm. Not very creative. Neither of these two are super creative when it comes to the aliases. But that's fine. I love that he stresses the old part. Like, we're not believing you, hooded figure, that you're that old. So while Kanan and Ahsoka are dealing with the Inquisitor, they enlist Chopper to sabotage his ship, which is fantastic. Ezra is continuing on with Old Master, who admits to being a Force wielder in his past. A Jedi?
Then you must have been a Sith.
Sith, they took everything from me, which is not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not lying here. At least he doesn't claim that he was a Jedi. That would have been bad. This guy, he's had it tough, man. He says the temple has the knowledge within to destroy the Sith, who are his enemy. Meanwhile, Kanan and Ahsoka and Chopper overcome the Inquisitor and take him prisoner. Ezra and Old Master reach the temple, which takes 2 Force users utilizing the dark side, of course, to enter. They work to lift the large stone doors, and once inside, Old Master reveals himself as Maul. No longer Darth, just Maul.
Just Maul. So Kanan and Ahsoka are questioning their prisoner, who reveals that he was on Malachor hunting a quote-unquote shadow, which obviously means he was there hunting Maul.
Yes.
Who at that very moment is leading Ezra to the center of the temple, where they again work together. They do the Kanan and Ezra force throw each other, and acquire a Sith holocron.
Yes, not a Wayfinder.
Not a Wayfinder, although it looks exactly like one, because the Wayfinder looks exactly like a holocron and should have been a damn holocron.
We will not let this die, folks. This will go on forever and ever.
But after they pull it out of its little holding place, the temple starts to open up.
Mm-hmm.
Chopper tells Kanan and Ahsoka that more Inquisitors have arrived. They rush to the temple after the prisoner is free, and Ezra and Maul use the holocron as a key to open the doors.
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka and Kanan are not okay with Ezra standing there next to Maul.
Yeah.
Maul, on the other hand, is having a grand old time. What fun.
So excited. It's like finally some action.
Ezra manages to convince is a bit of a strong word here, but he manages to persuade Kanan and Ahsoka that in this moment, they are all on the same side and that they have to work together to fight off the Inquisitors. Maul tells the group that they need to make it to the top of the temple to get the knowledge that they seek, and time is running out because Vader will soon arrive.
Mm-hmm. Whoopsies. Oh no, here comes the actual Sith. Oh no. So on the way up the temple, on these really cool looking elevators, like this part was really cool.
Yeah.
The design of the temple is excellent. The group is forced to separate. Ezra going with Maul and Kanan going with Ahsoka.
Kanan, I know Ezra was like pushing you, but still don't give in. You were the absolute like pushover stepdad trying to please the teenager. Like, should not have let this happen.
Mm-hmm. There was an interesting push-pull here where it's like, Kanan, you either had to immediately agree to trust Ezra, and then Ezra probably would have been like, oh no, I'll hang out with my real master, blah, blah, blah. Or you had to say no and put your foot down for everything. Yeah. Like there was no middle ground. Poor baby.
Ugh.
Our poor guy. So they're going up the temple. They're trying to divide the 3 Inquisitors between them. Ezra and Maul fight the 7th sister, and Maul encourages Ezra to kill her, because of course he does. Ezra hesitates, so Maul does it instead, berating Ezra for not having the strength to do what must be done. They see that the others are in trouble, so Ezra continues to the top while Maul goes back to, quote-unquote, deal with it. Interesting wording there. He successfully kills the 5th brother pretty easily. Like,
yeah.
Maul does not have a difficult time with these Inquisitors. It's no wonder they were afraid of him. While Kanan damages the 8th brother's lightsaber, causing him to plummet to his death when he tries the little helicopter lightsaber action.
Stupid helicopter thing.
Yeah, I love Rebels. I do not love the helicopter lightsabers. A cool idea in theory that didn't really translate that well to screen. Can you imagine them trying to do that in live action? It would just look terrible.
Like, could Grievous have done that?
Yes.
Just with his own hands?
Probably. I believe in Grievous getting those things to spin fast enough because of his robotic appendages. I don't know so much about the Inquisitors. So after all of the Inquisitors have been taken out, Maul states that Ezra is his new apprentice, and he attacks Kanan and Ahsoka. Kanan is blinded in Maul's initial attack, and Ahsoka does fight back. Too little too late, Ahsoka, my girl. We're going to talk about that later. Maul reveals that the temple is also a battle station, because of course it is, that he will use to destroy all of his enemies. At this point, he's talking about Palpatine and Vader. Meanwhile,
And
Ezra
let's
makes
face
to
it,
the
just
top.
about everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
just about anyone who's ever done Maul wrong, which I'm sure he will assume is the entire fucking galaxy,
mhm.
because that's how he is, because freaking Arrested Development for this poor guy. Meanwhile, Ezra makes it to the top of the temple and inserts the holocron into its little slot place. The temple activates, revealing its nature to Ezra, who is horrified, thankfully.
This is just one of those, like, be careful what you wish for moments. Like, I want to know how to destroy the Sith. Okay, I
Here we go.
can obliterate the Sith. That's not what I wanted.
Yeah, oh my god, no. I can destroy Coruscant, like, without, what? No! Mm-mm.
So Kanan, just like palling around in the dark, he manages to find an old temple guard's helmet. Curious why this was there, honestly.
Maybe.
This is
One
pretty
of them
far
made it
from
up
like a
that
Jedi
far.
temple. I don't know.
I mean, I guess he made it far. Like, there was a sentinel there during the fight, I guess.
Must have
and he
been.
made it up there that far. Because isn't that what Maul trips over, then? Is the
Yeah, it's
petrified
it's the
corpse there?
petrified body there.
Yeah.
Anyway, he puts on the helmet to kind of shield his wounds, and he manages to fight off Maul despite his lack of sight, using his other senses and just trusting in the Force,
Yeah.
and pushes him off the temple. Chopper signals again that they have more company. And we get this nice little tracking shot of like a shadow passing over the little cracks in the cave ceiling. Kanan and Ahsoka race to the top of the temple to try and help Ezra. Sensing movement outside, Ezra goes to welcome the help of his friends, being desperate. But it's Vader himself, the drama king of the galaxy, standing on top of his freaking TIE fighter.
Piloting it from the top.
Piloting it with the Force from outside. Now, I gotta give Ezra some props in this moment. He gives Vader some sass.
Mhm. Yes.
Including like, yeah, Vader's wondering how Ezra could have possibly gotten to this point by himself. Yeah, you're smart. You figure it out.
Vader's like, oh, it was fucking Maul, wasn't it?
Yeah. Vader quickly destroys Ezra's lightsaber. Goodbye to the staple gun.
Goodbye, staple gun. We barely knew ye.
And is about to completely finish off the boy, but Ahsoka manages to get there. The two exchange some insults, Ahsoka saying she had suspicions about who Vader was under that helmet, but there's no way that Anakin could have become this. Vader, of course, reveals Anakin Skywalker is dead. And so Ahsoka declares she will avenge his death, and the fight begins. This is a great fight.
God, it's amazing. It's one of the best fight sequences in Star Wars. It's fantastic.
Kanan arrives being guided by Chopper, who's like holding his hand.
Holding his hand with his little hand. His little droid hand. It's like,
and
fine. Everything's fine. I won't cry.
And he helps Ezra remove the holocron, but then that causes some kind of energy surge, and the temple begins to completely collapse.
Mm-hmm. So, Vader seemingly defeats Ahsoka and tries to force grab the holocron from the fleeing Ezra. He almost has it, even though Kanan is like clinging onto Ezra, and he's saying, I've got you. Like, no, please don't do this. When Ahsoka returns, frickin' baller move right here, strikes his mask, chopping off part of it. Ahsoka is running when she hears Anakin's voice coming from Vader. And he says, Ahsoka. Like, it's fine. I'm not crying.
Perfect blend of the James Earl Jones and the Matt Lanter, and then that softer one. And
his yellow freaking eye. Ringed in red, just looking like Maul. I mean, Maul's eyes have always looked like that to us. Yeah. So that's the dark side eyes coming out, and this is what Anakin's eyes look like now. Coming to terms with the truth, Ahsoka states that she will not leave him again. Everything's fine. Just go watch the Clone Wars TV series and you'll have dry eyes forever. I promise. There's no crying involved. Vader reasserts himself over Anakin, and the two can continue to fight. Ezra and Kanan manage to make it out while Ahsoka is pushing Ezra away. Like, Ezra tries to go back and get her, and she's like, nah, no, you have no chance. If I have no chance, you have no chance. Ensuring their escape. As the Phantom flies away, the temple fully collapses. Also, Kanan hugs Ezra. Let's just put that out there.
He does. And we get this incredible like tracking shot montage to end the episode. Kanan, Ezra, and Chopper reunite with the Ghost crew, and they have to deliver the news of Ahsoka's apparent death. Maul, we see, is flying away in one of the Inquisitor's TIE fighters, so he made it out. Vader is shown kind of limping away from the temple wreckage and the ruins. And we do get a very, very brief shot of Ahsoka being accompanied by her old pal Morai walking back into the ruins. It's a very, very quick shot.
Yeah, triangular doorway. We don't know what's going on.
We don't know what's going on there. Back on the Ghost, we close with Ezra using the dark side of the Force to open the Sith holocron, and we get that red reflection in his eyes. And that, boom, season 2 is over.
What a fucking ending.
So much is going on in this. Oh my God.
That last tracking shot of the episode is insane.
It's
like
insane. The score over it is incredible.
Stunning. Stunningly beautiful. If we had a winner for this episode with Maul, it would be Kevin Kiner who does the score. Like, this is fucking amazing work here. All right. I think we're ready to head into our second holocron.
I think so. This is
so.
The Will of the Force, where we discuss the theme or themes in today's episodes. Colleen, you want to start us off with the episodes?
I will go for our episode themes. It's a little rough this week, you guys. There's not very much hope, unfortunately, except for Morai being present in these episodes. We have first episode 21, Know Your Enemy. Or at least attempt to know your enemy. Both Ahsoka and Maul say that you need to understand your enemy before you can defeat them, which is another interesting flipping of the coin for Ahsoka and Maul. They will be connected in other areas for Star Wars, particularly in the end of the Clone Wars. And then there's Maul, who's really good at figuring out his enemy. He figures Ezra out very quickly, playing on his understanding nature and need to connect to people. Like, he really gets this real fast. He's a lot smarter than the Phantom Menace made him out to be.
Very much so.
We saw that a little bit in Clone Wars, but here he really latches onto Ezra quickly. Which leads us to episode 22. Empathy can be destructive. Like, yes, Ezra, we love you. We love that you want to give Maul a chance because you want to give everybody a chance.
Ezra goes beyond empathy here. Ezra sympathizes.
Yes. Very much so. And Maul was actually very sincere when he was talking to Ezra here. And Ezra gave him the opening. Like, Maul was kind of just talking to himself a little bit, being like, the Sith took everything from me, and he went a little internalized with it. But then when he noticed that Ezra kind of had that kindred spirit thing going on, he was like, oh, here we go. I can exploit this. Maul's weird. He's like, I can exploit this, but also I crave this. Like, I can exploit it, but I also crave this kind of empathy and sympathy with what has happened to me. Ezra trusts the dark side user a little too quickly, wanting to focus on the things Maul said he could be, which is a very teenage thing to do. I mean, you find a new friend or a new mentor who all of a sudden shows you a different side of yourself, and you want to believe that you could be that.
You want to believe that you could control this power.
Yes, definitely. Like, Ezra's like, believe in me, Kanan, I can do it. And Kanan's like, fuck.
It's like, yeah, he taught you how to use the dark side to open the door. And Ezra's like, oh, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got a hold on this. Is great. Everything's fine. Kanan's like, fuck. God damn it. And this totally leaves Ezra open to Maul. And closes him off to someone that he should trust, Kanan, because he knows him so well. Like, him and Kanan know each other super well.
They know each other very well. But all this kind of gets to our series theme. not really dealing with the chosen family today. We are really dealing with raising the stakes and these escalating responsibilities. Ezra's going to have to deal with the fallout from trusting Maul for a long time. I mean,
Kanan's blind.
Kanan is now blind because Ezra insisted on Maul coming with them.
And Ahsoka is gone. Oh, our poor baby. He's too young to have to deal with this kind of shit.
And all of that is on his shoulders, plus everything else he was already dealing with, being a soldier in the rebellion, training to be a Jedi. I mean, he played it off for a joke a couple episodes ago when they were dealing with the Krykta spiders. He's like, yeah, me, possibly the last Jedi ever in the galaxy. And that is a responsibility. And now Ahsoka's gone, and that really is
two
true.
Of us now. He's like, there were 3 and now there are 2 because fuck knows where Yoda is.
Yeah.
They don't know.
And just bearing that weight. I mean, let's be clear, Ezra is not responsible for Maul's actions.
No, he's not.
But he does blame himself for what happened as a result of his choices and what happened on Malachor. Ugh.
Oh, I know. Season 3, here we go.
Oh God, love me some season 3.
Bring on the angst.
All right, so then let's move into our third holocron, the Galaxy's Populace, where we focus on the characters and relationships highlighted in today's episodes. And Colleen, I gotta let you start it with your boy.
Oh, I have to every single time. Maul, here we go. Danger Snack has made his Rebels debut. Why did they make him so sparkly though? For real, what is the reason?
What are you talking about?
His skin looks like it's like shining and beautiful. He looks like a Tori, our friend of our pod, describes him as like a poison dart frog. Like he's got this outward kind of weird beauty that draws people in, but also should be like screaming danger. Like, no, this is not, do not approach. But the pretty colors, like, oh, but he's pretty. He is voiced again to perfection by Sam Witwer. I love how Sam made him like the old master voice to start with, even though it's like, we knew it was Maul. But poor Ezra's like, oh yeah, he's like an old grandpa. This is fine. It is not fine. He's such a great addition to the Rebels cast. He's a great foil for Kanan, giving Ezra that dark side user to kind of sit on his shoulder as the little devil to Kanan's angel. He's sitting there tempting him. Love the Inquisitors call him the Shadow. Like he's this mysterious force that nobody can stop. Like,
it actually reminds me of, I want to say it's in the Phantom Menace novelization, when it's either, or it might actually even be, they might actually even be talking about Vader, going all the way back to like the original New Hope novel, but they describe this like blackness around these Sith that just, the dark aura that just appears to be, you look at them and it's like they are just sucking in the light around them.
Yes. And that definitely would describe somebody like Maul, who has like hardly any light, if any, still inside of him. I do want to know why he says he can't defeat Vader on his own. I want this story immediately. There has to be a reason. He wouldn't just be out there being like, oh yeah, Vader can totally wash me without a reason.
I don't know. I think
Maul doesn't just think
Maul
that.
Maul is aware. We know, especially he knows who Vader is.
Yes.
He knows who he is underneath. And so he's had dealings with Anakin before. He knows how strong he is.
Yeah. I don't know if he's ever faced him directly, though. I don't think he did in the Clone Wars. He was either with Obi-Wan or he faced Ahsoka, because Ahsoka was like, if Anakin had showed up, you'd be screwed. But we didn't have that. When this aired, we didn't have that.
Right.
So it's still a mystery. Like, he knows who Anakin is, and he knows that Vader is Anakin, but we don't know about any sort of relationship between the two. Like, it could be, I want to see Vader kick Maul's ass. Like, I want to see that story.
We don't know. I mean, we ultimately don't know how or why Maul is here.
Right.
So as far as we knew,
Crimson Dawn. Like, we don't know that yet. So we're waiting. We are patiently waiting. Dave Filoni, if you're listening to us, please tell us what is happening here. So we have a couple things with Maul in these episodes with his relationships. He starts a relationship with Ezra. He's always on the lookout for a new apprentice. Just asked his brother Savage or Ahsoka, which we find out in the Clone Wars.
Any good Any good Sith is always looking for a better one.
Exactly. Always looking for either their replacement or somebody to help them out. Unfortunately, he's not great at keeping them or enticing them to join him, as we will find out later. Rewatching Rebels for the millionth time kind of made me pay attention more to Maul's interactions with Ezra here. Like, what exactly does he want? At first, he probably is going to get rid of Ezra once he gets his prize. Like, why would he have a reason to keep Ezra around? But then he's like, this kid is smart and resourceful. And also, he kind of understands me. Interesting. Maul kind of craves that kinship, whether he wants to admit it or not, which will be interesting moving forward.
Major abandonment issues.
Oh, God. I mean, if you were taken at 3 and...
Yeah. And raised on Mustafar by Palpatine and torture droids.
Yeah, who was your best friend? A torture droid. Everything's fine. And then Palpatine destroys the droid that was his friend. Oh, yes. Sorry, y'all. I am a Maul apologist for a lot of things because of nature versus nurture, and nurture pretty much destroyed his entire life, or lack thereof. Nurture, I should say. And then next we have Maul and Ahsoka, who are a really interesting pairing. They haven't seen each other since Maul pieced out at the end of Clone Wars Season 7 when he took the ship that Ahsoka and Rex had intended to use to escape the Venator that was crashing. We love that he's such a passive-aggressive asshole. He calls Ahsoka a part-timer. He's so rude. It's so amazing. And he calls her, quote, Lady Tano. Quote. She's not a lady, guys. He's just being an asshole. If you think about it, Ahsoka really should have been keeping a closer eye on him.
Yeah, she really should have. Like
the entire time.
She's only met him once.
Ezra will be fine.
But
I'm like, girl, no. Ahsoka, no. You should have. She should have been like, Ezra, no. This is not gonna fly. Like, yes, we will let him help us defeat the Inquisitors, but you are going nowhere near him.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I would have been like, okay, the Inquisitor. All right, where are those cuffs that we had for the Inquisitor? Slap those on there.
Yeah. Maul probably would have let her too.
Oh, definitely.
He'd have been like, oh yeah, I'm going along with it. Ezra will free me at some point.
Speaking of Ezra, oof, our poor Space Aladdin Padawan just really has a tough go these 2 episodes. He is drawn very quickly into the pull of the dark side. And is able to use it much, much faster than Kanan would like. Really Ezra, fast. Yeah. Ezra really gets a chance to see up close and personal the uglier side of his mission to become a Jedi and defeat the Empire. I mean, we always knew it wasn't going to be easy, right? But it's also not exactly going to be bloodless.
No.
I mean, Kanan gets blinded, they lose Ahsoka, and one of the absolute last, also possibly one of the strongest light side users in the entire galaxy. And to make matters worse, Vader destroys his lightsaber. I mean, that thing was so cool. I still loved it. I still defend it.
No, I love that lightsaber.
Even though Ezra, he doesn't want the ultimate power that the battle station offers at first.
No.
Once they're back on the Ghost, he does actually pull out that holocron pretty quick.
Yes.
Everyone is still kind of saying hello and getting ready to leave, and he's just in his room. He's gone full goth, lights out, red light right in the middle.
He's in his goth / emo phase right now.
Yeah.
Luckily, he has a roommate, so he's not just going to be able to he's not going to be able to pull out his holocron every 5 seconds. Yes, the masturbation theme will hit strong in season 3, everybody. Yes. Oh, poor Ezra. We're definitely going to have a lot to unpack for him in the next 2 seasons. It's difficult. This is a growing up kind of story. This is a finding out who you are as a child and going into adulthood.
Who you want to be.
And who you want to be and who you think you are, I think is very important for Ezra moving forward. Especially when it comes to Kanan, who is our next focus for our Citizens of the Galaxy. He did a lot of things right this episode, but still, he's the one who loses his sight, who loses something like very precious to him. He tried to tell Ezra not to trust Maul. Like, he tried. And then
not hard enough.
Okay, not hard enough. I mean, this is the moment where it's like the seesaw thing, like either trust him or don't. He does at least put his trust in Ezra eventually, but unfortunately at that point it's too little too late. He's trying to listen to what the Grand Inquisitor told him at the temple. Like, he's gonna fall. Like, you're not going to be able to stop him or control everything he does. And I think he remembers that at the last second, and it's like, okay, I need to give Ezra a shot to figure shit out for himself. Ugh. Communication, everything's fine. I love, though, he is such a badass. Once he puts on that Sentinel mask, he's incredible. He like connects with the Force to a degree that I don't think he ever has before. Otherwise, there's no way he would have defeated Maul so quickly. Although Maul, of course, was being a jackass and was like, I'll make this quick. Like, I'm going to be able to take you out easy because you can't see. It's like, Maul, come on. Didn't you do any exercises with Palpatine about not using your eyes to perceive things through the Force? Maybe not, I guess. He used so much Force energy to focus on defeating Maul, though, that he does drain himself. We don't see that very often with the Force users or Jedi. Like, he really is concentrating so hard on the Force that he can take Maul out very easily. But then, of course, he's like, I'm done now. I need Chopper to lead me around. But then he does have another best Jedi dad moment when he hugs Ezra and comforts him. He is such a good space dad. He is the best space dad. Like, he's the one who's blind. Like, he is blind here. He is traumatized, and he's the one who's trying to make sure that Ezra's okay, which is what a parent does. I mean, if they're hurt, they make sure their kid is okay and that they're going to be okay. We'll see if this pans out later.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
In the upcoming seasons, but at least in this episode, Kanan is trying his best. And you can tell at the end, like when he kind of turns his head and he's got the bandage on, he is sensing something.
Oh, yeah.
Is going on with Ezra.
Definitely.
But then we don't know what he does yet about that.
And then lastly, the apprentice herself, Ahsoka, comes face to face. She comes straight up face to face with her nightmare in these episodes. She has to put up with Maul's bullshit all over again, which I think it wasn't until I watched Rebels maybe the second time that I realized I didn't remember her and Maul ever actually meeting during Clone Wars. And then, of course, we got it in season 7.
Yes.
And then she has to fight her former master, her brother, her best friend, really, in Anakin. And she has to make that decision that she knows what it's going to cost her to stay behind. And she still does it because she just is not about to abandon him again.
Yeah.
Can we talk about, though, just what a flex? And Vader's like, killing is not the Jedi way. And she's like, well, guess what, bitch? I am no Jedi.
I got 2 lightsabers and 2 fingers. And
this is not your friendly neighborhood Ahsoka anymore, Anakin. She doesn't need your tampered with blue lightsabers.
Fuck that shit.
She's got her own. They are super powerful. They are white. They are fucking incredible.
Her fight sequence here is fucking amazing.
It's so amazing. And it's just so good. It's amazing to see how far she's come in her saber combat. She is on point.
Ezra being like, I'm going to need to practice a little bit more.
That was a great line. I really need more practice. Also, at this moment, again, he doesn't have a lightsaber anymore. So, one problem at a time, kid.
Yeah, we need to work on that.
We ultimately, we won't know if Ahsoka ever would have been able to take on, like, in his prime Anakin in saber combat, but she's definitely more than capable of fighting Vader at this stage.
Yes.
And the whole fight, like, I will say it again, it's such an incredible sequence. It's so beautiful. It is so heartbreaking. Even if you haven't watched Clone Wars, you haven't seen Ahsoka that much, but you've seen probably just enough of her. And I can only imagine having no knowledge of who Ahsoka is before Rebels and being like, wait, what? My Padawan? What's going on? But they do a very good job of showing their relationship in a very short span of time here. And that's why it lands so well. She reaches him for that brief instant.
So
Briefest
close.
of instants.
So close.
We get he's looking at her with his own eyes. Probably the last person that he will look upon until Luke in his moment of death.
Yeah.
And he just says her name. It doesn't come out as the apprentice or you again or whatever. He says her name.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still not enough. It's not enough to fully draw him out.
Damn it.
It is
we know
interesting.
we know it can't, but
We know it. I mean, yeah, we know just from a story standpoint, it can't be, obviously. But it's interesting to think of this as kind of that first real chink in his armor as Vader. The first person to get a positive emotional connection with him since Padme's death.
Yeah. It's I like thinking about that too, because yes, Luke is obviously the most important connection that Vader forms, especially in his later life. But being able to show that somebody else could have reached him if she maybe had more time, like, or if she had shown up earlier, maybe if she had been with him on Coruscant when Palpatine made his moves, maybe then he wouldn't have fallen. It adds a nice layer to it. Like, yes, Luke is obviously very important. He is one of the most, if not the most important character in Star Wars. But knowing that there are other people that had a shot or had a chance, and that Anakin loved other people, it's really nice to see.
Knowing that it's not just the first person who tried.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, knowing that people had to like chip away at him, because I'm sure killing Obi-Wan also kind of opened up another wound in him, because he became an entirely different person in Empire Strikes Back. Like, he became that obsessive Anakin focused kind of person, whereas in A New Hope he was just like, wow, I guess I'll just do my job and kill these rebels. And he's like, Obi-Wan, what? Reawakening that old Anakin mentality is really fun to see. Like, yes, this is why we watch the Clone Wars, is to see that Anakin had these kind of very deep personal relationships. And then you get it even further in Rebels. Like, yay, thank you, Dave Filoni. Thank you for making the prequels work. I'm just kidding, Flo. I love the prequels. Everything's fine. We love you too, Flo.
Yes.
All right, I think we're ready to head into the fourth holocron then, which is Binding the Galaxy Together, which are our homages and Easter eggs for the episode. First off, one of my favorites, in my book, experience outranks everything. This is Rex's line to Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, in the film, the Clone Wars.
Yes.
It's so adorable when they first meet. I love the book ending of their relationship here. It's a callback to that first meeting. It's perfect. Everything about Rex and Ahsoka is perfect. Her response in the movie was, quote, "Then I'd better get some," end quote, rather than here when she says, quote, "Then I definitely outrank you," end quote. Like, I mean, you both are kind of, after seeing the end of Clone Wars, are on basically the same spectrum of experiences. But it's really, really very cute. Another cool connection between those two. She says, "I am no Jedi" in this episode. Rex actually says it first in the Clone Wars. He is skewering a Zygerian slaver after he says this, which is like, banger. Yes, Rex, get after it.
Yes.
When it's Anakin again can't kill somebody. And Rex is like, fuck that, I'm not Jedi. Bam!
Jedi don't kill. Well, guess what?
Yeah, guess what? I'm not a fucking Jedi. I'm a blonde fucking clone trooper. Nobody ever sees Rex coming. That's one of the good things about him. Okay, next we have the Old Tongue, which is what Ahsoka is trying to translate on the Sith artifacts ruins. This is Ur-Kitat, which is also known as the Sith language. It can be seen on the artifacts in the temple that our crew encounter on Malachor, but it also makes appearances in the Clone Wars, the sequel films, and the Mandalorian. It can also be,
I didn't realize it showed up in Mandalorian.
It does. This is also like the Old Tongue is like the Sith tongue, but it's derived from the Jedi tongue also.
Okay.
So it's on a lot of the older Jedi temples as well.
Okay. But we'll
Mhm.
never actually know what it says because, as 3PO keeps saying, he cannot translate it.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Ahsoka
Oh, well.
can translate a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I guess that was an elective at the Jedi Training Academy.
All right. Next up, we have the Scorched Bodies from the Great Scourge of Malachor. To me, these just always seem like they were very much inspired by the Pompeii and the Vesuvius eruption, where people are just kind of frozen in place wherever they were when this weapon went off. The great battle between the Jedi and the Sith ended when the Sith super weapon was activated, killing everybody in the vicinity. Also kind of reminds me of the Darth Bane trilogy and the Force Bomb that he uses to destroy the Army of the Light and the Army of Sith to establish the rule of two.
It's fine. It's just mass destruction. It's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. We also get Ezra picks up a crossguard lightsaber. Now, this episode aired just 3 months after Force Awakens came out. So we had seen Kylo Ren's crossguard saber, but no one was really sure about it at that point. Like, it was also that cackling because the Kyber crystal was broken. So we weren't sure if the crossguard was actually a side effect of that. But it was interesting here because this is a green saber, which would indicate that it is in fact a Jedi, is not a Sith. So there are other styles out there. They do exist.
They do exist, and the High Republic has a couple.
But yeah, we're getting more
sword situation.
Yeah, especially when they have to use them as keys in their ships.
Yes, so cool. Yay, High Republic! Everyone read the High Republic books.
Yes.
Okay, next we have the Temple Voice, aka the Presence, voiced by Nikki Futterman, who's also Asajj Ventress's voice. She sounds amazing. I mean,
she does.
This is a dark side voice right here, guys. In an interview with IGN that was posted after the episode aired, Dave Filoni provided some insight into what he saw as the backstory of the Presence. In his mind, the voice of the Presence is the voice of the ancient Sith Lord who built Malachor's temple. Filoni said he liked the idea of an ancient and powerful woman, get after it, Dave Filoni, who had domination that the audience had not heard of yet, who was creating the weapon when it was attacked by the Jedi Order. Whoopsies. And everyone was turned to stone when it was activated. Filoni further said that the name of the character for the Sith Lord was created, but he couldn't reveal it yet. Interesting. The 2018 source book Dawn of Rebellion mentions a Sith witch. Oh my. Oh my.
What? A Sith witch?
Is she a Night Sister? Like, is this
Is she the founder of the Night Sisters?
I know, that would be super cool. Who led Sith military forces during the Great Scourge of Mandalore, the battle in which the super weapon was
Malachor, right?
Yes, sorry, Malachor. Sorry, I'm talking too quickly. The battle in which the super weapon was activated and misfired. So this is a misfire, according to this canon book. It was like purposely activated, but probably wasn't supposed to kill everyone. Whoopsies, oh no. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, the visual dictionary, identifies the Sith Lord who constructed the Malachor super weapon as Darth Tanis. Any potential correlation, though, between the three characters has not been confirmed by a canon source, although you would kind of think that this Sith witch / maybe a Night Sister / Presence voice from the Holocron are the same person?
I would think so. Maybe.
So Darth Tanis, we're thinking, is the Sith witch who decimated everyone, including herself, probably, because she's in a holocron.
Yeah.
Let's be fair.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and then we have the Code of the Sith. Maul isn't just spouting his own words here, although he's proven that he can do that pretty well. What he tells Ezra can be found in the Sith doctrine or mantra, which was taught to other Sith by, once again, Darth Bane. And it goes like this: peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me.
Ooh. Darth Bane had a way with words.
Definitely had a way with words. Now, this code was originally written by David Gator, who created it for 2003's Knights of the Old Republic video game. It's also appeared in the Clone Wars episode, The Altar of Mortis. Gotta love the Mortis arc. Gator definitely took inspiration from Hitler in real history and some of the words in his manifest Mein Kampf. If you are a fan of any kind of dystopian literature or any kind of dystopian comics, such as V for Vendetta, you'll definitely recognize other places in fiction that definitely take their cue from this. Strength through unity, unity through faith, England prevails. Pretty much anytime a fictional fascist government comes into play, they take some kind of a cue from Mein Kampf to create that doctrine. All right. Well, before we move into our next holocron, we'd like to take a moment to tell you about this week's sponsor, Brush. Brush is an electric toothbrush that will change the way you think about brushing your teeth. With powerful sonic technology and ultra gentle bristles, the Brush redefines what it means to have super clean teeth. It's like that feeling when you leave the dentist, a really fresh whole mouth clean every single day. Our listeners get 15% off with their total purchase with code POD15. That's POD15. Follow the link in the show notes and enter code POD15 to get your exclusive discount and upgrade your oral care routine.
We'd also like to tell you about our new partnership with Fiverr. Do you need a freelancer to help with your website, either a designer, or maybe you need someone to help write expert articles and blogs, or maybe an expert presentation designer to help you with a big work project? Look no further than #1 freelance marketplace, Fiverr. You can find designers, programmers, and more within seconds, some for as low as $5 per gig. Fiverr is the ideal tool to help you with pressing projects. Just post your gig or search for freelancers and you're off. Don't deal with the hassle of finding freelancers by yourself. Let Fiverr help you. See the link in the show notes to get started. Please note, Bohemian Geek Studies is an affiliated partner of Fiverr. We may receive commissions on purchases and services you buy after you click the link. These commissions help support the growth of Bohemian Geek Studies, and we appreciate your continued support. All right, everybody, and now we are going to segue into our 5th holocron, the Newbie from Naboo.
Yay.
This is Flo's first time watching Rebels, and look at the Funko Pop I've got for her today.
For me? That one's for you. We all know it.
Yeah,
it
we all know Maul
Darth
is
Maul
for you.
bobblehead.
I actually have 3 Maul bobbleheads. This is the Rebels edition Maul.
Ooh.
Shirtless, which is very important for his arc in Rebels.
Oh, all right then. Interesting.
He freaking loves to be shirtless. I don't know what to say.
Was he shirtless in this one? I feel like he was cloaked.
He was cloaked for us for some time until he revealed himself to be not an old man.
Well, yes, indeed. I guess I just didn't notice the shirtlessness. I guess I'll have to watch again. I was pretty preoccupied with about 75,000 other things that were going on.
There's a lot in these episodes. All right.
Yeah.
So we've tasked Flo with watching the episodes. Yay, giving us her questions and her takes. So let's find out what our ambassador for Naboo thought about today's season finale episodes.
No, I cannot believe, first of all, that we just hit the season finale of season 2.
Yeah.
I feel like it went so fast. But anyways,
quickly.
Okay, so I want to preface this with I really enjoyed the episodes. Okay,
Yes.
Part 1 and Part 2, enjoyed both, was very hooked, captivated, did not touch my phone. It was way better than the side missions that we've had in the past couple weeks, for sure, 1,000,000 kajillion %. So I want to start off with that and then go into it.
All right, let's do this, Flo. What do you got?
Okay. So I'm going to start out with the good. I loved Rex and Ahsoka at the beginning. I thought that was so great. And obviously I don't have a lot of Rex and Ahsoka knowledge, but even I could tell that this was very emotional, and him saying, "May the Force be with you" to her, it was just really, really nice. Even though she's not a Jedi, she still is a Force user. And so it was just really, really nice. Loved that. I was interested as to why Malachor was forbidden to Jedi. Obviously we found out there's a Sith temple there, but I didn't realize that would be forbidden. I feel like they would want to know, right?
No, not with what happened to the Jedi there.
I mean,
it's my guess. It's that forbidden fruit. I'm sure Yoda's been there. I mean, Yoda knows what's going on.
I just feel like ignoring it is not really the way to fix it.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yay,
Well,
Jedi.
we all know what happened to the Jedi when they decided to do
Yeah.
that for too long.
That's true. Indeed.
Freaking Jedi.
Okay, this note just says, Ezra, don't touch shit. What are you doing? That was just craziness. Overall, this episode, we've talked about Ezra as Aladdin many, many times, but this episode was straight up Aladdin. They just
Cave of
took
Wonders.
Aladdin and then they lifted it and they moved it to space. So we've got old man Maul as Jafar. We've got Ezra as Aladdin. very like Cave of Wonders stuff with the Sith temple. And honestly, that kind of took me out of it. I thought it was a little bit too much, and I was like, I've seen this before. Like, I know Maul's gonna betray him because Jafar betrayed Aladdin. Like,
Well, and
it
Maul,
was just-
it's Maul.
and Maul is Maul, right? And actually, I was surprised about Maul at the beginning. Not that it was Maul. I could obviously tell it was Maul.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, it was pretty obvious. I don't know that many like red horned people. But just the fact that he like saved Ezra, like that was surprising. And then I was like, I'm getting way ahead of myself, but I just want to put it out there that I was surprised, and then I wasn't. So
Oh yeah, it's very
that was annoying.
tropey. Like it works with the tropes.
Very
Seriously.
yes, a little bit too much for me.
Okay.
Like it was just a little too obvious and on the nose. Okay, let's keep going through my notes. I do have a question here. So obviously there's a graveyard of Jedi, right? They pick
And
up
Sith.
these and Sith, right? They pick up these like lightsabers that like collapse in their hands. But my question is like, do the Kyber crystals disappear too? Like, why aren't they out here being like, well, here's a bunch of Kyber crystals. We should probably take them.
I think they last a lot longer because I mean
Okay.
the lightsaber ignited, but then it kind
Right.
of. So I think the Kyber can survive at least for a time.
So don't
it-
you
it
think
might
they
be
should have
damaged.
taken it and like made new lightsabers with it?
So they potentially,
Maybe.
maybe.
Oh.
I mean, they didn't really have a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
They were pretty much like, yeah, let's run.
Yeah, but it
Get out there,
disintegrated.
yeah.
Wouldn't it just like fall out? Wouldn't it be like, oh man, it's dust and a Kyber crystal?
Yes, if it were still intact, probably. I don't know if it disintegrated with the hilt, but
Because I would assume that
Very
lightsabers
old.
also, yeah, they're very old, but also lightsabers are made of a material that can stand a pretty long
Mhm.
span of time, much more than an organic body could.
Sure. So I don't know. That just like felt really wasteful to me to just like leave the ground littered with Kyber crystals. So
they're all
I
really
definitely
freaked
wrote
out, I guess. Like they're like, this is not something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
that. Okay, fair, but then like leave. Like,
You
like
would
don't
think
stay.
they
What's
would.
wong with you?
Yoda told them to go there. We can trust Yoda.
Oh my god. I wouldn't trust Yoda as far as I can punt him, honestly. Okay. A lot of these just say old man Maul, question mark, old man Maul, exclamation point.
So good this episode.
I did think that Ezra was being quite smart and being wary at first, but then he kind of like gave up on his wariness. Like
Mhm.
he got hooked pretty quickly, but I did appreciate that he was careful at first and he was
Yeah.
like, you go first, like I'll go behind you, like
Yeah.
I'm Jabba. Then I was like, why tell him your real name, dude? Shut up. Like you're so annoying, Ezra. Come on.
Ezra hears a sad story and he's done. He's like,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
Instantly.
he is a sucker for it.
hmm
Poor Ezra.
And Maul's not lying. I mean, Maul.
Yeah,
is
Maul
telling the
never
truth.
lies.
Yeah, he's very into the truth, even though he obfuscates and he kind of
Yeah.
moves the truth around a little bit, but he doesn't lie. I mean, he doesn't say exactly what he's going to do, but
I mean, I just feel like Ezra could have been a little bit more careful. I
Yes.
loved Chopper in the TIE Fighter. Give me all of
Chopper's
the
a
Chopper.
boss.
So cute. I loved it. I also really like the idea of revenge versus justice, which I feel was really
Mhm.
prevalent in this episode. And it's such like a thin line between the two. And it
Very
kind
much
of
so.
feels like the line between the dark side and the light, right? And so that was really interesting because it's just two sides of the same coin with often like a very similar outcome.
Yes.
So it was just really interesting.
Yeah.
So I really liked that a lot. As soon as he said use your anger, this is what I wrote. I wrote, use your anger. Fuck you, old man Maul.
Well, I mean, he has to use it, otherwise he won't be able to get into the temple.
Yeah, but maybe he shouldn't get into the temple.
No, he should not. Definitely.
Yeah.
Not. So
He
like
thinks
how about
they're
we
gonna
not use
save
our anger?
everyone. He's just.
How about
yeah.
we like chill out for 1 second, Ezra? How about you like breathe and maybe like ask your friends for some advice? I don't know. Who knows? Angry
Mhm.
Ezra was very scary.
Yes.
He
Mhm.
freaked me out. Just like the look on his face was freaky. The like effort that he exerted, like you could tell he was pissed, and it was scary to behold. Like we haven't
Mhm.
seen that.
No.
I don't think, at least not to this extent.
No, not to this extent.
It was a lot. So that was not good.
Or Bean.
I just wrote more Inquisitors. Ugh, I'm like kind of sick and tired of them.
One more.
They're annoying me. I'm just like, just go away. And like, I thought their like lightsaber helicopters were so stupid.
That's
Those
like
are
one
those
thing
are
of Rebels I'm not a huge fan of. I
that's a
don't
pretty
like the
divisive
helicopter
thing. Yeah.
It was just weird, and it was like, no, okay.
Maybe if only the eighth brother did it, it would be something that was like distinctive to him. It would be a little more interesting, but then they all did it, and I was like,
Yeah, it was just weird. It was weird.
visually it looked cool, but otherwise I was like, really? Is that what we're doing?
I always
Okay,
had
I'm
questions about the physics of it. Like if a lightsaber blade actually has mass and can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It
I could
just,
spin fast enough.
it looked, I'm gonna get really nerdy here, but it looked like a Pokemon move that like an Oddish would do, where it like spins its little leaves.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know it either, but I can picture it. I can
Okay.
picture it.
Listeners, I just need you to vindicate me for 1 second. Everybody needs to go look up their Pokemon, break out the Pokedex, people, look up an Oddish, and tell me that there's not a move in which an Oddish moves its little leaves. Whatever. Anyways,
I
guys,
can imagine it. I can
Yeah.
see it in my head.
I'm gonna send you all.
I always thought it
pictures
kind of
of
looks.
Oddish
It
after
looks like a dark Inspector Gadget.
It
Yes.
totally. Oh my God, you're so right.
Yes.
It totally did with the hat, right? He had like
Mhm.
the propeller hat. 100.
It's a little too cheesy for an episode that otherwise is very serious in its tone.
And it was also like kind of a cheat because the
Yeah.
other people can't do that, and so it's like, okay, you're just piecing out. All right, whatever.
Yeah, the Inquisitors are basically like a freaking game cheat code, which is like,
Yeah, I'm
it
just
doesn't
kinda
get as
tired of them.
interesting. That's
Mhm.
why I think bringing in Maul was such a good idea, because it's like you need not a,
Yeah.
I guess he's not a fresh villain, but you need a villain who actually has some gravitas to him.
Totally.
Right.
Totally. And I did appreciate that because I'm really sick and tired of the Inquisitors. Okay, so then we move on to part 2.
Mm-hmm. What fun.
Maul breaking his lightsaber out was really cool. That
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just fun to see it again. I loved all the red on red lightsaber fighting.
Yes.
That was super
Mhm.
cool. I loved that.
I love how afraid of him they are.
Yes. And it's almost like what has been like going around in the Inquisitor circles about him? Like I feel like there's like a wanted poster
So
somewhere.
Flo, this is
Mhm.
the first as far as timeline goes. This is
Okay.
the first we've seen him since his cameo in Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So he has already been trash compacted.
He has already been
Yes.
trash compacted. He has already been through the scorpion legs and
Okay,
everything
scorpion
else.
leg phase.
He's been through the Scorpion Leg.
Magic Witch
Palpatine has
Mom.
already beaten his ass. Yeah, his mom has died.
He has ruled Mandalore twice.
Ruled Mandalore
Okay.
twice. He has had a crime syndicate.
Yeah,
So that's why he's looking like such an old man. I mean, a lot's gone on.
a
Yes.
lot's gone on.
He's-
He's the same
been
age
through
as
a lot.
Obi-Wan at this point.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's pretty rough, but okay. To be fair, time was also not kind to Obi-Wan. So
No, both of them had a rough go.
that's a tough look. Okay. I was definitely interested in Maul wanting to defeat Vader. And I don't feel like I got a lot of answers about that.
There are none.
Besides there was like a lot of repetition of like, it's always 2, right? Like the Sith is always 2.
Mhm.
So I assume like he just wants to take Vader's place, but like he hates the Sith. So I was
Not
like, I was
anymore.
really confused.
He wants them both dead at this
Yeah.
point.
I think
Oh, what?
he wants to be the one.
Yeah, he wants to be the master and have
But there's
Ezra
always
as his
2.
apprentice.
Maul, get
So
it
he-
together.
He'll have
He's-
Ezra.
Yeah,
He
he's
wants
trying to
Ezra.
recruit Ezra, my new apprentice.
Oh,
Yeah, he wants to kill Palpatine and Vader very badly.
got it. Okay,
we-
I
And
don't feel like that
Kenobi.
was clear.
No, and we don't know why he's so afraid of Vader either. Like when
Okay.
he says, "I can't defeat Vader by myself," we don't know why he says that.
Okay, so I wasn't the only confused one.
No.
Great, awesome.
That's why we
next
need the
note-
Kira show. Damn it.
Amen. Thank you. My next note just says "fuck probe droids."
Yes. Yes. Zeb agrees with you. He hates them.
Hate those guys. They suck. These next 2 notes are pretty funny. It says Kanan needs to trust his teachings. Like
Yeah.
he needs to trust that like Ezra's gonna do the right thing, even though Ezra kind of doesn't. But I think if he had trusted Ezra more, then Ezra would have been more likely to listen. And this is kind of the Anakin
Yeah.
Obi-Wan issue again, where it's just like you're taking your teachings and then you're not trusting your apprentice to follow them, and then you're
Mhm.
pushing them away with this like lack of trust. So
Yeah.
And then my next note just
Poor
says, Maul,
baby.
shut the fuck up. So
He can't. He does not know how to be
he
quiet.
does not
The
know
Phantom Menace was like, he's not even speaking.
I know.
Now he doesn't shut up.
I know, that was so crazy. I did like that Ezra knows that they're not supposed to kill. That was good, but it was kind of reminiscent of Anakin not wanting to kill Dooku and then being pushed to do it.
Mhm.
Very close. There's a lot of Anakin Ezra parallels.
Yes, there was a
Yes.
ton. I
Like,
remember Old
he's-
Man Maul's still bringing it.
Oh yeah.
He really did bring it.
Yes, he does.
He freaking washed the Inquisitor.
He did. Okay, so now here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that Kanan is blinded.
Mhm.
R.I.P. Kanan's eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? I feel like 1 second there was a lightsaber, and the next second Kanan's like, "Oh,
He
Maul
blocked.
slashed
He
him.
blocked it with his lightsaber, and the light blinded him. Like,
And
they-
I think
Is that a common thing?
I think it absolutely also. I mean, it straight up burned his eyes.
yeah, it burned them because he's got like that burn on the bridge of his nose too. So it
oh,
got
so it
like
touched him."
it got. Too
I think
close.
it did.
Yeah,
Okay.
his own lightsaber, I think, actually got him. Like, ugh.
I feel like if that's a common issue, that like when you hit lightsabers together and it blinds people, they should wear protective lenses.
Probably.
yeah, I think it
mean-
got so close, like it did, like maybe touch his eyes. that-
Okay. That's kind of what I thought, but it was a little bit confusing. And then like I saw the season 3 picture like after the episode was over, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, his eyes look pretty effed up. I'm assuming he's
Mhm.
blind. But I in the episode I couldn't really tell if it was gonna be like reversible, you know?
Right.
Right.
But anyways, very sad. R.I.P. Kanan's eyes.
Don't worry. He'll
And
see
my
her
note-
again. It's like, for real, they had to do that to us this episode.
My note about Kanan's eyes said, "Did he fucking blind Kanan?" Question mark, question mark. I just want everybody to know what my notes sound like.
Yes.
Okay,
I love your notes.
thank you. They're very academic. My next note says, "Knowledge is power," and then I wrote, "Are Sith Ravenclaws?"
Palpatine
And so that kinda-
definitely is.
That kind of like led me to wonder, like, what house is everyone in this episode? Like, I feel like Ezra is a Slytherin.
I don't know about that.
I think we classified him as a Slitherpuff. I think he's
Okay,
like Slitherpuff tendencies.
I can understand the like.
I was not a
Hufflepuff-
part of that, so I don't know who this we is you're talking about.
Okay, what do you think, Anders?
It's a tough call. I can see where you're getting Slitherpuff, but he's also
Puff is the empathy aspect.
Puff
part.
is the empathy aspect, and that is a very strong part of his personality. But there's something about what he's doing here. It's more like he's angsty Order of the Phoenix Harry here.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, Ezra's-
this.
Oh, we haven't even gotten to angsty Order of the Phoenix, Ezra.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
God.
But
it
his
gets worse.
whole But I mean, this is him. I mean, him lashing out at Kanan. This is Harry lashing out at Dumbledore, and it's all coming from this place of feeling this responsibility, feeling this desire to help people,
Mhm.
which is where I think you lose the Slytherin aspect and maybe more of like a Huffledore.
I think he definitely has some Gryffindor tendencies for sure, especially with the not looking before he leaps situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call. I mean, he's a complex character, and characters
Yes.
can't necessarily just be put into one or two categories.
He
To
does have the
me-
Slytherin tendency of the ambitiousness.
Yeah, definitely. And like he is pretty cunning. Like
Yeah.
he definitely has all of
smart.
that.
Mhm.
I just feel like
The
he
one thing he's
reminds-
not is a Ravenclaw.
Yeah,
No, he's definitely not
a claw.
It's the one thing
He's not
not.
answering those riddles to get into the
He's
common
definitely
room.
not. I just feel like he reminds me more of Draco than Harry in a lot of ways. Just like in terms of like wanting knowledge now. I mean, Harry does this too. And of course, like Harry is borderline Slytherin, so it makes
Mhm.
sense. But there's just like a lot of like
Just like you
I
said, that's two sides of that same coin, that very,
Exactly,
very
exactly.
fine line.
100%. So I don't know. I was just thinking about that, but definitely I would say Sith or Ravenclaws if they think knowledge is power. So I feel like
Yes.
that's written in my common room.
Yes.
So
I would definitely think Palpatine is a Ravenclaw. A lot of people would be like, he's a Slytherin. I'm like, partially, but he's really into
He's
the knowledge
really
part.
smart.
Like,
Yeah, he really is.
wants the knowledge. So I think he's definitely a Ravenclaw.
So is Voldemort.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Voldemort's definitely the Slytherin ambitious part, but then the
Whereas
knowledge.
Kanan is like big Gryffindor energy
Yeah,
to me.
definitely.
I mean, I would say. I don't know about
Mhm.
Ahsoka because I don't know her well enough.
Gryffindor.
That's
She
kind of what I
dumb.
guess. Fair.
Her and Anakin have got the big Gryffindor power couple teammate aspect going on when
Yeah.
they're training together. Poor Obi-Wan.
Bless his heart.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. This part took me out of the episode right here. Kanan versus Maul. Maul like immediately fell.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, oh, it's over.
Mm.
Yeah.
I feel like this should have been like this huge showdown, and it was like, bam, I blinked and I missed it. So that was, I don't know, I just felt like it should have been a little bit longer. That was
I
kinda
think it
small.
should have been, but also at that point, Maul is
Overconfident.
overconfident, but he also knows Vader's coming, so he's also
Yeah.
kind of anxious to get out of there.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
once he
fair.
realized Vader's coming, he's kind of like, fuck, I fell and I have no time. And I
Right,
can't
right.
beat Vader. Maul's big on running.
Mhm.
I
He's
just,
a runner.
I don't really understand like why he wouldn't have like kept up his little ruse of like being on their side so they could fight Vader together.
I think he was panicking. I think he was like, Ezra's already up there. He's starting to get the holocron. I just need to get up there.
I also think
Okay.
if he could dispatch Ahsoka and Kanan before Vader gets there and get to Ezra and take control of the temple, then
Yeah.
he's not as scared of Vader.
I see.
Yeah.
I
that-
see. So
with that
he ran out
battle-
of time.
Even
Yeah.
though he should have known he couldn't beat Ahsoka, but we didn't have the Clone Wars season 7.
It's
Oh,
true.
okay.
So
Then-
Flo, you're in the position we were in when we first saw this. So the last time they
Okay.
met was the finale arc of Clone Wars season 7,
Mhm.
but that didn't come out
Got it.
until just last year.
No.
Right.
And
Okay.
that's why Ahsoka knew who he was, because she really didn't have much interaction with him during the Clone Wars until the end. And the end, their battle sequence is amazing, and that is definitely
Yes.
one you want to watch.
Okay.
Those two
I'm excited.
fighting because it's fantastic. Also, Maul and those making a lot of sense in those episodes.
Okay. Good to know.
Mhm.
So then, of course, Vader comes, and my heart goes pitter patter.
Biggest drama king in the entire galaxy.
but also like
Mhm.
such a Voldemort line when he said, "Then you will die braver than most." I was just
Yes.
like, that's like straight up Voldemort to like James or to Harry. It's just like
Mhm.
Also, props
Whoa.
to Ezra for like stealing himself at that moment.
Yeah.
100%.
He just immediately raises the saber and he's like, "All right, let's do this."
Yes.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
baby, no.
It was very sweet. It was very sweet.
He tried.
I mean, somebody should have told him this guy like annihilated younglings. But anyways, Ahsoka versus Vader was very sad. Obviously, like
Yes.
I don't have the whole Ahsoka knowledge that other people have, but even I could tell that like it was very emotional, and that was very, very well done in this episode.
Mhm.
When she like cut off part of his mask and like we saw Anakin underneath there, I was just like, oh man, like how does he not turn back here? Like how does it take so much longer with Luke? Like this should have been it. Like it was like we heard his voice.
Yeah.
It was
Matt Lanter.
oh my god. I was just like,
It was
this is amazing.
Rough. So rough. Like, oh, I think she put a little dent in him, though.
She definitely did. Yeah, she definitely started the job that Luke ended up completing, but like,
Mhm.
whoa, it was intense. I loved the Ahsoka, I will avenge his death. That was just like, and then of course she hits us with I am no Jedi, and that was
Jedi.
like, woo, that was good. The Vader
She's such a
force pull was
badass.
great.
Mhm.
This just says OMG Anakin heart heart. So take your pick. That could have been in any part of any of the prequel movies or this. I loved Rex with Ahsoka after all of this. It was like
My heart.
Mhm.
very
Can't-
sweet,
can't
very
handle
sad.
it.
The ending score was incredible,
Yes.
Like,
That ending tracking
wow.
shot is insane.
gorgeous. Yeah, it was
Insanely done.
gorgeous. And then I just wrote, "Fuck Ezra opening the holocron," and that's what my notes ended on.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's where the episode ends.
Exactly. And so it was a lot. There was a lot in these episodes. And I would say, like, my main critique is that there was a lot in these episodes and not a whole lot going on in the season. And I feel like I needed an episode between the last one and this one to get a little bit more about this mission, a little bit more like background knowledge of what was going to happen. Just because I felt kind of thrown into it, which in some ways, of course, like is nice because it's like, let's keep it moving and let's go. But I also felt a little bit confused as to like what their plan even was coming into this. Because it seems like they just showed up.
Yeah, they have no plan.
They did. They were like, we were told to go here. We're going to go here and try and find some knowledge.
Yeah, that's basically all their plan was.
It just
was a
didn't
bad
seem
plan.
very smart. Yeah, it was not a good plan. Not a good plan. And then I kind of wish that we had just seen more Ahsoka this season.
Yes.
Because we
Always
got
want more Ahsoka.
But mostly because like we got so much of her this episode, and it's like, but I barely know you. And so for people like me, like obviously I saw her in Mando, and I saw very little Ahsoka in like the early seasons of Clone Wars and like her little tube top.
Yeah, that's a travesty.
It's just a little bit crazy.
She wears more clothes later on in the Clone Wars.
Good to know. Good to know. But between like super young Ahsoka and then like much older Ahsoka of Mando, like I barely know Ahsoka. And so to get her here and then have so little time with her and then have this like very emotional pivotal moment for her of fighting Vader, I just wish I would have seen more missions with her this season and kind of like seen her skills and just gotten to know her a little bit better. Yeah. So that's really my only thing, but overall obviously loved these episodes. They were great. Yeah.
So emotional. Like, holy shit.
It was. Yeah. And it definitely made you like want to start season 3 right away. Like, beautiful ending. Yes. I can't even imagine that people had to wait. I mean, I have been waiting. I haven't watched season 3 yet, but that people can't just like click next episode is crazy.
Oh yeah. I would have gone insane.
Absolutely.
I immediately went to the next episode.
Yeah.
I was like, this show is great. I love this show. Holy shit.
Yeah. It was definitely crazy.
Everything.
They really just leveled up on these episodes.
Yes.
But
season 2 is a lot of character building, and then season 3 and 4 are much more streamlined.
Okay. That's good to know, because I just feel like it was kind of like good, and then it's like ba-bam, we just like completely went up like 12 levels, and it was just a little bit jolting. So
yes,
but
it's
overall
very,
great,
very jolting. Yay! I can't wait for you to next season go
I
meet
can't wait
Ron.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Man. I do not find Maul hot. I'm very sorry, Colleen.
That's okay. He's a danger snack.
I will take my half-faced Anakin.
He's all burned up. It's fine. He's still gorgeous.
I like to call him just crispy.
He is. He's just been like blanched a little bit. Everything's fine.
Everything is okay. A little extra time on the barbecue, but that never hurt anybody.
I think Maul for me is a lot to do with his voice actor, who is my first husband, Sam Witwer.
Okay.
So like,
that is fair. That is
never
fair. Whatever floats your boat.
About Sam Witwer doing anything. All right, I think we're ready to head into our 6th holocron next, which is Conjecture at the Cantina. This is where we ask our questions about the episode and explore some wider Star Wars lore together. I will get us started with, what did Dave Filoni and crew have to say about these episodes? Well, first of all, why the hell did they do that to poor Kanan?
Travesty.
I was so not happy when this happened. And a few people who I've had watch the show have messaged me very angrily after watching this episode. Be like, what happened? I'm like, I'm very sorry, but also I'm not sorry. Watch Rebels. So the cast and crew were quick to remind viewers that younglings were taught in the Jedi Temple to rely on their other senses besides their sight to perceive the world. Luke had to put his little blast shield down in order to kind of defeat that little droid guy that he was fighting with Ben Kenobi.
Yep.
So it is possible to be able to see the world with the Force. It's not going to be the same. Like, it's still, he has lost his sight. Like, this is going to be difficult, like, no matter what. And Freddie Prinze Jr., who's the voice actor, said this is going to be a make or break moment for Kanan. And this, he was saying this before they'd started making season 3, so he didn't really know what was going to happen yet.
Mm-hmm.
But he was very intrigued by it. He kind of was like, will this make him stronger? Or will he fall into complete despair from the loss of his sight? So I'm very excited for Flo to see this for the first time and see Kanan deal with the aftermath.
Can we give a shout out to Chopper for like leading him up
when
he's like holding Chopper's hand?
Oh, my poor heart.
That was so good.
Chop loves his family.
All right, can I make a prediction right now about what? Okay, I think he's gonna be pretty distraught at first, and like then get angry and like go through all the stages of grief, and then he's gonna like figure out, like, I can't tell if somebody's gonna like come in and be blind, and he's gonna be like, wow, look, other people are blind too. I can do this. Or he's just gonna like hear a weird disembodied creepy ass Yoda voice who's gonna be like, do not eyes use, Kanan. Like, whatever. That was my Yoda voice. I hope you guys liked it.
I can tell you that Yoda is 0% helpful when it comes to blindness.
I mean, you could have just left it at Yoda is 0% helpful. Honestly.
Yeah, go to Malachor, he said. It'll be fine, he said.
He's unbelievable. Like, honestly, he just sends people to do his dirty work all the time. Like, F you, Yoda. You're the worst.
He's just chilling in the swamp with a smorgasbord of frogs.
Yeah, exactly. Apex predator. He's fine where he is. He's like, I'm cool. I'm chilling. Let's send Ezra and company to a fucking Sith planet. I wonder if Maul's there. Yeah, right?
Oh
where there's a freaking crazy weapon that the Sith could use.
That now a child has. A child.
Yeah, that's going to be totally okay. Everything's fine. Okay, next we have Ahsoka and Vader Showdown. Dave Filoni and Ashley Eckstein had actually been pondering this moment for like a decade after Clone Wars was kind of quote unquote done, because they knew that Ahsoka would have to meet up with Vader eventually if they didn't kill her off. Filoni was actually really concerned whether the moment in the show would be effective enough for fans. And it's good to hear that Flo thought that it was effective.
Yeah,
and you haven't seen all of Clone Wars, so he did his job. Like, this was intense and emotional. And getting Matt Lanter to come back in and say Ahsoka, and to hear kind of breakage between James Earl Jones's Darth Vader voice and Anakin's voice.
One day he's going to say Flo like that.
I really hope he does. Just for you.
My
I
God.
really hope he says
I'm just going to cut it. Like, I'm just going to find it. Like, he's going to say like Florida or something. And I'm just going to cut it. So he just says Flo.
I want to hear it. Okay, Anders, I know you've got a couple.
Yes. All right. So I want to start us off here talking about this temple.
Mm-hmm.
A couple episodes ago, I talked about kind of some things I noticed about the Jedi Temple on Lothal, how it kind of represents the way that the Jedi view the Force and everything about it. And I kind of want to do the same thing here with the Sith Temple. So the Jedi Temple, if you guys remember, it's built into the natural landscape. It's very curved. It uses these existing structures. Mm-hmm. Whereas this thing, there is nothing natural about this temple. Every single surface is flat and smooth. Every corner is extremely sharp. Everything about this thing is extremely artificial. It is definitely man-made. Yeah. Rather than being kind of built into the land, it is plopped on top of it to show this Sith idea of kind of dominance and control. Mm-hmm. Same thing with how we enter it. You know, the Jedi Temple, you effectively had to ask it to open. This one you're forcing.
Yes.
Pun intended. You are tapping into the dark side, and it takes 2 Force users to do it. A similarity it has with the Jedi Temple.
Right.
Mm-hmm. In fact, everything you do, everything that Ezra and Maul do in this temple, from getting inside, opening it back up, getting the holocron, taking the elevators to get to the top, every single thing requires 2. No more, no less. No more than 2 can ride the elevator up. Kind of, again, symbolizing that rule of 2. Flo, you were saying that earlier. It's always no more than no less. Except for the very last thing, the one thing that you can do with one person is activate the temple. Yeah. So you have to kind of cooperate to get up to the top, but only one ultimately wins in the end.
Yes, who's most worthy.
Who is actually most worthy, who will, in fact, stab the other one in the back and end the cooperation.
Good job.
And take power for themselves.
kind of like the Triwizard Cup.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
So
And that power is what gets us into the actual purpose of this temple. Again, the purpose of the temple on Lothal was to kind of meditate, look inward, feel the force, and gain some sort of knowledge. Here, knowledge, again, representative of the Sith ideals, knowledge is power. Quite literally, the Sith Holocron, a repository of knowledge, is the key to a weapon.
Mhm.
A battle weapon that will destroy everyone and everything around it. Doesn't really care who or what it is.
It does not.
Yeah,
All right.
this temple, like, I'm sorry, kind of reminded me of Exegol.
Yes.
Definitely.
Just like super like sleek, angular, and like you said, very unnatural. Just like it's there, and it's like, why is this here?
Mhm.
It's very confusing.
Definitely. All right. So my question around this episode kind of there's a very fine line between the light side and the dark side that we were alluding to earlier. We all know Maul is bad.
Yes.
Maul is not a good person
No.
or
he's
anything.
not. No.
But so I referenced this, I forget what episode we were in, but I have talked about this idea before about how, the heroes kind of need some dirty work. Something needs to get done. And they end up kind of teaming up with a villain who kind of does that dirty work. And so are they actually morally absolved from things? Like Ezra absolutely does not kill the seventh sister.
Right.
He won't do it. But she still ends up dead.
Right.
Yes.
Like, and that still kind of needed to happen. Does the fact that, like, two things. Does the fact that it was Maul that actually dealt the blow and Ezra kind of stepped back morally absolve him from the fact that he was kind of a participant in this? Yeah. I know he is not exactly the same, but from the grand scheme of things, could they have done this without Maul?
Probably not. I mean, I don't know if Kanan and Ahsoka could have killed them. They probably would have incapacitated them or tried to.
Right. Maul takes out 2 of the 3 Inquisitors directly.
Yeah.
And then the only reason the other one dies is because Kanan happens to have damaged his lightsaber. So when he tries the stupid helicopter thing, it breaks and he falls.
Does. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of like goes back to my question of like, what was their plan? Like, if they weren't going to kill them, then what was the plan? Were they going to take them into custody?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that feels dangerous. Like,
Yes.
what was the plan here? They literally went into this saying, we're going to go find the Inquisitors, and then had no plan beyond that. Like,
Yeah. Or at least find knowledge that could help them defeat the Inquisitors. But then you're going to a Sith temple. The Sith temple is going to say kill them. Like, this is a freaking Kyoshi
I was
from
gonna say,
Avatar.
it's Kyoshi.
This is Kyoshi. She's going to be like, you're going to have to kill them. There is no, like, locking their power away or taking their power away. That doesn't work
right.
in Star Wars. Like, and they're probably not going to be able to be healed or turned back unless you did some sort of extensive therapy, which we know the Jedi aren't good at either.
No.
Yeah.
they're not. No therapy in space. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Dooku, right? It's like, what was Anakin's idea of like what he was going to bring him in front of the Senate for a trial? It's like, no, bro, like he chopped off your hand. Like, just kill like, not because Palpy told you to, but like you definitely should have just killed him.
That's a little iffier.
No, it's not. It's
That
not
one's a little iffier, especially
Come
after you have chopped off both of his hands.
A little, yeah. I mean, he was.
Come on. No. Okay. No.
mean-
You're telling me that in Attack of the Clones, when Dooku was fighting Yoda, what was Yoda's purpose in that? Not to kill him?
Oh, he wouldn't have killed him. No.
What? Then why was he fighting him?
He was probably going to try and incapacitate him in some way.
And then do what? Is there like a jail?
Trial.
Yeah. They have.
Ahsoka gets put on trial.
Okay, but like you don't think Dooku's gonna break out of jail?
Oh, he definitely would. That's why it's so
what's the
difficult to be a good guy. Is when you don't kill people. you're kind of setting yourself up for the bad guy to escape again.
I just feel like
Yeah.
this absolute, like, I'm a very pacifist person, but like this absolute of like, let's not kill anyone is like, what? Like,
it's
then
dangerous.
what are you doing?
It's very dangerous.
These people
They're-
have killed
yeah.
other people. These inquisitors have
Mhm.
like been taking babies.
Yes.
Like, what is your problem? Of course you should kill them.
Yes. That's like their last ditch kind of solution. Whereas Maul is like, no, we're just gonna kill them.
We're just gonna do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a
I'm
threat, they
team
wanna
Maul
kill
on this
me.
one.
I think Maul was smarter strategy wise because they just did not have time. They did not
Yeah.
have time to deal with that sort of capture situation when they were basically evenly matched. Not skill wise, really, because Maul and Ahsoka themselves are very much higher in skill level than the
Yes.
Inquisitors.
How would they have
But-
even walked them? Like, what?
Yeah,
The
it would've
ground
been
is falling out. Like, what are
really
you talking
difficult.
about?
and their first instinct, unfortunately, as Jedi is not to kill. In the
Sure.
comic book arc, when the Inquisitors are being trained, Vader says this. He's like, they won't strike to kill. Like, this is a problem. We're going to have to break them of that
Hmm.
because they were all Jedi trainees, like Padawans or Jedi Knights. And he's like, we're gonna have to stop that because they're gonna have
Yeah.
to kill people.
It's also like I feel like the Sith can exploit this. It's like a
Mhm.
known
Easily.
weakness.
Yeah.
So
The only
And I
weakness
mean,
the
there
Sith
is
has that there's only two
ultimately-
of them.
Right. And I mean, there's always, in stories like this, there is always something that will come through in the end that actually shows that actually not killing someone is a mark of strength, not weakness.
sure, of
Right.
course. How? Okay.
But
I
this,
just
but this
I
is
cannot
like,
abide by people who are taking babies from their
Yeah.
parents.
yes. Well, in this instance,
No.
they weren't. I mean, it would have taken a Herculean effort to subdue 3 Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Like it.
When there's only 3 of them and one's a kid.
Yeah.
This was
like,
a dumb. Overall, my biggest take from these episodes, besides the fact that it was beautiful and very emotional, is that this was a very dumb plan.
yes.
Extremely dumb.
Yeah.
Very dumb.
this is
Now, it
Anakin
is worth
level plan.
noting. It is worth noting. They did not anticipate running into the Inquisitors on this planet.
No.
The Inquisitors were
they just
there
said they were
actually
looking for
hunting
knowledge.
Maul.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
coincidence.
The 8th brother was
Really?
in charge
Yes.
of finding Maul.
They were
He was
actually
hunting
hunting Maul.
And then the 8th brother called the other 2 on his little wrist comm thing because he was like, oh shit, there's Jedi here now too. We can take care of this.
Okay, wait. So now back up because now I'm confused. Wasn't their initial plan like they were waiting for Ahsoka, right?
To
Mhm.
go to
take
Malachor.
out.
Go to Malachor.
They were
to
going to
find knowledge.
Malachor to find the knowledge of how to defeat the Inquisitors.
I see. Okay, so
Yes.
this was like step 1 of a multi-step process.
Yes.
Yes.
It was supposed to be. And
Supposed
Got
to
it.
be.
And then Maul kind of ruined everything.
Okay,
By
I
being
didn't
there.
understand that at all then because
'Cause
I
he
thought
brought
like this was the
8th brother
plan.
there. Yeah, they were going they didn't really know what they were going to find. I mean, that's another huge problem. Was that Yoda just told them to go to Malachor and they can't access the Jedi archives, so they
I
don't
was
have any
gonna say.
information on it.
I
Yoda
gonna
was
say,
absolutely no help.
It's been removed from the archives.
Mhm. Oh, I think that one's still in there, but only Palpatine is able to get a hold of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When
Okay.
Maul obviously learned about it from Palpatine, otherwise he wouldn't have been there.
Right.
Or he got the information when he was head of Crimson Dawn. Like we don't know. We don't know what
Give
happened in
us
between
the
Solo
Kira
and this.
show.
Yes, give it to us now, please.
Mhm.
Thank you, Charles Sewell, for giving us any sort of Kira content. We thank you greatly.
Well, all right, guys. I think that's going to wrap it up for today. So tune in with us again next time as we begin our season 3 coverage with a nifty little time jump and some new styles in the 2-part season opener, Steps into Shadow.
Ooh, new styles. I'm excited.
Until then, please follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us those 5-star reviews. Check out our website at bohemiangeekstudies.com, where you can watch all of our episodes. Enjoy Colleen's Book Corner, where she's reviewing Star Wars literature, and contact us through email and social media. And as always, tell other Nerdy Knights to come and join us. It really does help. You can also head over to ForgottenEntertainment.com, check out all the offerings from the Forgotten Entertainment family, including yet another Star Wars podcast, where Khalid, myself, and our co-host Daniel and Flo is on this week.
Yay!
are examining the films in the Star Wars canon. Until next time, double-bladed lightsabers up and keep those episodes streaming. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.